Hey guys, can you hear me now? Hello? Yes, you can hear me now? Could anyone please unmute their mics? Because I can't hear any of you. Are you guys there? Okay, so please, in order to start, I'm gonna ask you all to turn your cameras on. Please make sure that you have your cameras on so that we can get started with today's class. I'm gonna need your cameras on, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you guys, thanks. Okay, what about the rest? Carolina, Fabi, Camila, would you be able to turn your cameras on? Okay, so we have a text. Camila, Carolina, okay. All right, guys, no problem for today's class. Okay, then let's get started. First of all, I want to welcome you all to this course, TOEFL preparation course. And I'd like to start by saying that TOEFL prep is something that we've been doing for quite a while here at Executive English. And we've had many students from, well, different countries, different backgrounds, all over the place who have trusted us. That's why you have this quote here, right? More than 10,000 students have trusted us. So yes, we have come a long way teaching TOEFL prep. And well, I'm glad to be a part of it. And I really hope that you guys enjoy, you like it, and you find, most importantly, you find this course useful. Okay, guys? Now, the first thing that I have to start by saying is what I was just telling you, and that is the policy that we have here for Zoom use. So basically, we have seen that when students have their cameras on, they're more likely to retain the information a little bit more. You know, when you have your camera on, you're kind of forced to be there paying attention. Whereas when you don't have your camera on, we don't really know if you guys are there, right? We don't know if you're there looking at my screen or if you're somewhere else or doing something else, multitasking, which would be fine, right? But we really like our students to get their desired scores and to learn as much as they can. So it is very important that you guys have your cameras on during class. Of course, today is our first class, no problem today, but starting tomorrow, I'm gonna ask you all to please make sure that your cameras are on. Okay, I know that I had a problem with my Mac too, and I'm gonna figure it out for tomorrow. I'm gonna fix it for tomorrow. I really don't know what happened. I think it was working well and it just stopped. But I'm gonna see what's going on with my microphone. Okay, guys? Okay. Now, before we before we continue, I want to make sure that you also know our schedule. So, do you guys know when we're gonna be having class? Is this correct? Tuesday to Fridays, 7 p.m. What do you guys think? No, right? It's not correct. It's not at 7 p.m. So we'll be having class at 8 p.m. Okay, this was from the previous course. So Tuesdays to Fridays, we'll have class at 8 p.m. And I'm speaking in Bolivian time. Okay, so if there's any of you who are not from Bolivia, then you'll have to do the conversion. But I'm saying Tuesdays to Fridays at 8 p.m. Okay, guys? Now this course, how many weeks do we have for this course? Can anyone tell me? Maybe Laura, do you know how many weeks?
6 weeks.
Exactly, 6 weeks. So 6 weeks having class from Tuesdays to Fridays, that equals a total of 24 classes, right? 6 times 4, 24 classes. without counting today's class. So these 24 classes are going to be organized in two. We're going to have theory class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we will have practice classes or practice sessions, right, on Wednesdays and Fridays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be for the theory, and Wednesdays and Fridays for practice. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're going to be covering the entire TOEFL test, right? We're going to be teaching everything that has to do with the TOEFL, but we're going to be approaching it from the theory part. So we will see the types of questions, we will see strategies to answer those questions, we will see tips and templates and everything that has to do with how the test works and what you have to do in theory. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, we will be practicing everything we did the previous day. So let's say tomorrow we will be starting with speaking section. So tomorrow we will see speaking task number 4. Because it's Tuesday, we will see the theory of it. And on Wednesday, since it's practice day, we will be covering the practice. So you guys will be practicing that specific task of the speaking section. Okay? So theory and practice. If we have a total of 24 classes, that means that 12 are going to be for theory and 12 will be for practice. Okay, guys? Do you have any questions about this so far? No questions? Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to introduce myself because you may not know who is speaking, right? So you know my name, it's there. My name is Andrea. And well, I've been working here at Executive English. I previously worked here 1.5 years ago, and I worked for 2 years. So I started working in 2020, right after the pandemic, and I worked here for 2 years. Then I had to stop because of some personal issues, some personal matters, and some personal projects too. And now I'm working again at Executive. I've been working now for a while too. And well, basically I learned English because I went to an American high school. That's how I got into the learning part. After I graduated from high school, I pretty much started working, but of course I did some courses. I was certified as an ESL teacher too, and I have my TOEFL certification as well. I took the TOEFL test myself and I obtained an 114 score, which means or kind of equals to a C2 proficiency level, but it's not really like, that's not really true in all of the cases, right? It's just a reference that we have. But that was my score. And as you can see on my screen, these are the scores that I got when I took the test last year. And well, as you can see, I have the 4 sections there, so you can see. Okay, guys. Do you have any questions about me, about my experience taking the TOEFL test maybe, or anything that you'd like to know before we move on? Please let me know.
Maybe, where do you took the test?
Okay, great question. So I took it here in Cochabamba. I'm from Cochabamba, I live here. And I took it in the CBA, which is an authorized test center here in Cochabamba. I didn't take the home edition test, although it was already available, I think, when I took it. I'm not totally sure, but I took the test in a test center. Any other question? Okay, guys, thank you so much. Now moving on, this is a TOEFL prep course, right? But we cannot really move on without knowing what the TOEFL test itself is. And I'm pretty sure you guys have an idea already. There's a reason why you're taking this course, right? You already know that you have to or you want to take the TOEFL test. But it's important to kind of make sure that we are okay with some terms, all right? Now the first one, what is the TOEFL IBT? What do you guys think? What do you know about the TOEFL so far? Anything you know? Anything maybe about the structure, maybe what it's used for, maybe why you're taking it? What do you guys know about the TOEFL test? What can you tell me? Nobody knows anything? Come on, guys. Ivana, what do you know?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's an important test because you many works. You have to take the test first and then you work. But that's it. That's it.
Okay, all right. That's a good insight, Ivana. Thanks. So yeah, that is totally true. The TOEFL test is an English test. We're gonna start there. And as Ivana said, it's a really important English test, right? Because once you speak English, once you have learned the language, then you kind of have to prove it, right? It could be, as Ivana says, for certain jobs, when you're applying to certain jobs that require you to speak English, then maybe you are gonna be required to take an English test, right? And the TOEFL is one of the most accepted ones. So that could be a really good use of the TOEFL test. Now going back to TOEFL. TOEFL stands for Test of English as a Foreign Language, as you can see here. All right, Test of English as a Foreign Language. So it's an English test. It's a test that is trying to validate your English proficiency, but it isn't taken by everyone, right? It's taken by people who have learned English as a second or as a foreign language. That's why it's called Test of English as a Foreign Language, okay? So native speakers don't take this test, right? They don't have to. Now, IBT, why am I saying TOEFL IBT, first of all, right? Why am I going with the IBT at the end of the word TOEFL? Now, what happens is the TOEFL is such a huge test that there are many versions of it, okay? There's not just one TOEFL test. There are many versions of it. You have, for example, the TOEFL IBT, which is the most common one, the one that we're gonna teach here, which is probably the one you guys are gonna take, pretty sure. But there are others too. For example, you have the TOEFL PBT, which is the paper-based test that you take it on paper. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna take it, you're not gonna be taking that one because it is only taken in places where you have like zero access to the internet, which is not our case, right? But there are more. For example, you have the TOEFL Essentials, the PPT. There are other versions as well. However, the IBT version, the internet-based test, because you take it on a computer, is the most common one, okay? It's the most accepted one. It's like the traditional one. So if you guys need a TOEFL test for academic contexts, things such as applying to universities, applying to jobs, or certifying your academic English, then the TOEFL IBT is the version that you should be taking. Okay, guys? I want to be clear on the fact that the structure for each of the versions is entirely different. So the structure for the IBT is totally different than the PBT or Essentials or all of the other ones. Okay, guys? And in this course, we're only going to be teaching the TOEFL IBT. Is that okay? Do you have any questions about this? Most people usually don't know this, right? That there are more than one version. So what do you think? Do you have any questions? Any concerns? No? All right. Now, this isn't that important. Who makes the test? Basically, there's a company that I'm going to be mentioning in class, which is the ETS. Okay? Standardized testing service. Now, the ETS is a huge company that makes many different standardized tests. Standardized basically means that it's the same. No matter where you take it, no matter when you take it, it's always going to be the same type of test. Now, this company makes other tests as well. Maybe you have heard of the GRE, of the SAT. Well, all of these tests are made by the ETS, same company, okay? That isn't that important. I just want you to be familiar with the word ETS or with the syllabus ETS, so that when you hear it, you're not lost, okay? So ETS is basically the company that makes and administers the TOEFL IBT, okay, guys? Now, something that is really important is this. Right now, post-COVID, you have the option to take it either at home So you can actually take the test at home, on your own computer, in your room, on your desk, wherever you want, right? So you can take it at home with the home edition version. Or you can take the TOEFL IBT in a test center, right? Like I did. So for example, in Cochabamba, you have the ASB. I don't know if this is updated. You also have the CBA, where I took the test. But every city has different test centers, right? You can choose your test center. So you have those two options. You can either take the test at home or you can take it in a test center. Both of them are totally okay. Both of them are mostly accepted. Although I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you guys and tell you that some universities, for example, they don't accept the home edition, right? So that has happened sometimes. There are certain universities that still don't accept the home edition test, although it's the same, okay? The structure of the test, the questions, everything is gonna be the same, no matter where you take it. But it depends. It depends on what you need it for. It depends on what on what you're looking for when you're taking the test. We will talk about this a little bit more later. Okay, guys, but know that you have these two options, either at home or in a test center. Did you guys know about this? Do you already know where you're gonna take the test? If you're gonna take the home edition one, or you're gonna take it in a test center? Wendy, what do you think? Do you know already?
No, I didn't know about this, but I think I'm going to take it in a test center. Here, the CBA, you said that I can take it?
Yes, you can take it in the CBA. Okay, and why a test center?
Because I'm going to apply for a university, so I think that it's not going to accept me the home edition. I think that I would take the test center.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a good decision. It depends, okay? Just as a brief overview, we can talk about this later at the end of the class or during class too, when we have some time. But just as a brief overview, both of them have their advantages or disadvantages. I'm not saying which one is better. It depends. So it is true that the taking it in a test center is like more accepted by some universities, not all of them. Most universities accept both. They don't really care. By some universities, okay? But it also has their cons. For example, if you take it in a test center and you are someone that gets distracted really easily, that could be a problem. Because when you take it in a test center, you're gonna take it with more people. So you're gonna hear other people maybe speaking, you're gonna hear other people when they're doing their speaking sections. So you can actually hear them hear their answers while you're doing yours. So it may be a little bit distracting, not gonna lie, but you have the pros too, right? So the one good thing about taking in a test center is that no matter what happens, like let's say your computer freezes, it just stops working. So no matter what happens, or if you can listen to the audio files, whatever happens, if you're taking it in a test center, then that's not gonna be a problem for you. So you will still be able to continue taking the test. They will fix it for you. Nothing will happen, right? You will not be really, you will not face any problems because of that. However, if you take it at home and something like that happens, then your test automatically gets canceled. But when you take it at home, you're maybe more comfortable, you're maybe more likely to focus on the test and so on. So both of them have their advantages and disadvantages, okay? It depends on what you need it for, mostly. So is that okay, guys? Do you have any questions about these? No? All right. Now, you guys were already telling me a bit about these, right? The reasons why people take this test, why it's useful for. So Ivana, for example, was saying, I know that it's useful to apply to certain jobs. So sometimes when you need English for I don't know, your area of expertise, then you may want to take an English test, right? It could be the TOEFL. There are others, but the TOEFL is a good option too. So sometimes it helps when you're applying for certain jobs, or sometimes where you're working, they ask you to take a test, right? Ivana was saying that. And then Wendy was saying, well, I'm applying to a certain university. So that's another reason why people take the test, in order to be accepted in universities abroad, in universities where English is the language of instruction, right? So there are many reasons why people take this test. Most of the time, it's going to be either to apply to universities or to apply to jobs, all right? Those are the two big ones. Now, before moving on, let's try to get to know each other a bit. We're going to be seeing each other for 6 weeks, almost every day. So it would be really great if we could get along well and participate in class. If you guys can interact with each other too, maybe in the group chat, have a study partner. So it's great when we have a class that's dynamic, where everyone participates. We're gonna be participating a lot, especially in the speaking and writing sections. So it's important to know each other too. Okay, guys? So I'm gonna start with Ivana, please. If you could tell me your name, your city, so where you're from, where you're living right now, and most importantly, I'd like to know why you guys are taking this course. So why you're taking the course, or why you're taking the TOEFL test, okay? And one more thing, if you need a specific score, maybe your university is asking you for a specific score, like let's say 90 or above, then let me know too, okay guys? So please, Ivana, you can go ahead.
Okay, my name is Ivana, but all my friends call me Ivy, if you want. I am from La Paz, and I live here in La Paz, near Obrajes, I think. I'm taking the course because I want to, or I want to apply a scholarship. Maybe I need a score more than 100, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, Ivana. All right. So do you already have in mind what university you're applying to?
Mm, no, I'm not sure.
You're not sure yet. Okay, that's fine. If you have time, then it's better always to look for different options. Are you applying for a bachelor's degree or a master's degree?
Master degree.
Okay, great. And you said you need 100 or above, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. All right, yeah, thank you so much. Now, what about you, Wendy?
I guess so. Hi, my name is Wendy. I was born in Santa Cruz, but I am living here in Sucre for around maybe 19 years. So I'm taking the course because I am going to apply for a scholarship, and I know in what university I want to study. It is called BYU, Brigham Young University. So I want to study there, and I don't remember a specific score in the test, but I'm going to check that out. So yeah, that's a little bit of me.
Okay, can you hear me well? Yes? Okay, all right, Wendy, thank you so much. So that's great. I actually have a friend who went to BYU. So yeah, I'm familiar with our university. Okay, Wendy, thank you so much. Now, what about you, Laura? What can you say?
Well, my name is Laura. I'm from Cochabamba and I also live here. I'm taking the TOEFL because I'm also applying for a scholarship.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And I am applying for 3 universities actually. It's Memorial University, Ontario Tech University, and Centennial College. And it's for a student exchange from my university.
Okay. So
And I
you're
need
doing
an excuse me?
you're doing an exchange program then.
Yes, I'm applying for an exchange program.
All right. Great, Laura. And what university do you go to right now?
UPB.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So I know that at UPB, I think they ask you for the TOEFL too, right? It's, I think, a requirement.
Yeah, for most of the universities, yes, and some of them don't accept the home edition. So I think that I'm going to take it the test and.
Okay. All right, Laura, thanks. Okay, now maybe we can go with Carolina. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, good evening. My name is Carolina Zambrana. I'm from Bolivia. I live in Cochabamba, and I'm taking the course of TOEFL because I am trying to apply to a scholarship to do a master degree in renewable energy. I don't know specific the university, so I'm searching different universities.
Okay, great. So master's degree, renewable energy. So what was your major?
I have finished to study electromechanical engineer, so I'm trying to do a specific master in the part of electric engineer.
Okay. Okay, that sounds really cool. Thanks, Carolina. Okay. And we have Camila. You there?
Yes, teacher, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Camila. I was born in Santa Cruz, but I live in Villamontes, Tarija right now. I am taking this course because I want to continue my degree in the United States. So I need the TOEFL, the score TOEFL for to go there.
Okay, Camila, great. So you say you want to continue your degree. So you want to do
Yes.
you want to be a transfer student there.
Well, I want to do my specialty, maybe. I don't know if we say a specialty. I'm study medicine right now.
Okay. Okay, Camila, great. All right, okay, guys. So thank you so much. It's really nice to meet you all. Again, welcome to the course. And I really hope that this helps you get there, wherever it is that you want to go, whatever it is that you want to do with the TOEFL test. And I really hope that you get your desired scores. Now, it's gonna require a lot of effort. You know, it isn't easy, even if you speak perfect English, getting a perfect score or getting, I mean, the score that you need, especially if it's a little bit high, then it isn't easy. You know, even if you ask like a native speaker to go and take the TOEFL test, they probably won't get a top score because it's not just about speaking English. You know, that's why it's important to take a course or to study and prepare for on your own. Because if you don't prepare, then you're not gonna do well, even if you have a perfect English. It requires a lot more skills than just speaking English or being fluent. So for example, you have to be good at managing your time management skills. You have to be good at reading comprehension. You have to be good at organizing your time. You have to have strong vocabulary. You have to have the strategies for each question. You have to know the structure of the test. So it really takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of preparation. And I'm really going to ask you guys to study on your own as well. We will be seeing each other once, well, 4 times a week, 4 hours a week, but that's not enough, especially for those of you who need higher scores, then you need to practice on your own too. Okay, guys? So make sure that you really dedicate yourself during these 6 weeks, and if you need more time, then after the course, in order to get your desired scores. Okay, guys? Do you have any questions before we continue? And we go to the next slide. Okay. All right, guys. Now coming back to the TOEFL itself, here's basically how the time and the score goes. Now, in the test, you have 4 sections. You're gonna be evaluated on 4 different skills. The first one is reading, second is listening, then you have speaking, and finally writing. So reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Those are the 4 skills they're gonna be testing you. Now, each one is different. Each one has a different, a different timing in what each one lasts a different amount of time. I'm not gonna get into the details of like the specific timing for each, but I would like you to know that, for example, the reading and listening are the longest ones, and then speaking is the shortest, and writing is a little bit long. Okay, so just know that as an overview of the test. You have a break in between because the whole test lasts around 3 hours, 3.5, even 4. Not because, I mean, the reading could be longer, but because, you know, the whole process of getting ready for the test and presenting your ID and everything else. Okay, so it should be 3 hours, but it could be a little bit more. And you get a break, a 10 or 15-minute break in between the listening and the speaking sections. Okay, now as for the scores, do you guys know what the maximum score you can get is? What's the top score? You probably know.
Maybe 120.
Exactly. 120 is the top score you can get. All right, that's as high as it gets. And each section is worth the same. If you have 4 sections and it has to be 120, then each section is worth 30 points. Okay, so 30 for the reading, 30 for the listening, speaking is over 30 as well, and writing is also over 30. And that makes a total of 120 points. Okay, guys? I think it's a really good thing that every section is worth the same, because you can kind of make up for another section. Let's say you're not really good in the reading section, maybe because of vocabulary, or maybe because you don't, I don't know, you struggle with time, then that's fine, right? If you don't get a perfect score in the reading, but you need a 90, let's say, you can still make up for that in the speaking section. Let's say that you're really good at speaking, then you can make up for the reading section, right? Since every section is worth the same, that's an option that you have, except in the case that the university is asking you for a specific section score, right? That is the case of some really rare universities, but that could happen sometime. Okay, guys? Any questions about this? Time and score. No questions? Okay, guys. Now here's our calendar. All right, this is what we're gonna be doing during the 6 weeks. As you can see, week number 1, which is gonna be this week, starting tomorrow, we're gonna start with the speaking section, speaking task number 4 and writing section. Week number 2, we're gonna continue with the writing. Week number 3, reading, 4, listening, 5, speaking, 6, speaking. Now you may notice that it's not in order, right? We're not really starting in the reading section, like the test. But believe me, that doesn't really matter. It's not gonna be a problem because the order doesn't really matter, right? Each section is different. Each section has different strategies, different structure, different things that you have to do. You don't need to know anything at all about the reading section to do the speaking section, okay? It's like each section has a life of its own. So you don't have to worry about the order. You do have to worry about knowing which week we're in, what we're doing, right? That's important because if we're doing a speaking task number 4 and you don't know that it's a speaking task number 4, then it could be a problem. Okay, so maybe you can take a screenshot of this, save it. But either way, I'm gonna be telling you guys what we're doing each class, no problem. And if you ever miss a class, we will have a YouTube channel. You probably already know that. We will have the link of the YouTube channel in the description of the chat group we have. So if you ever miss one class, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can see the recordings, right? It won't be a problem. You can catch up anytime you want. And I suggest you really do that, okay? Because missing a class, especially a theory class, is not something you want to do, okay? Because every single theory class will be doing something different, something important. So you really want to be there. And if you can't, then watch the recordings. Okay, guys? Any questions about this? How we're organizing our time? No? Okay, guys. Now, finally, this is another important thing that I have to say, and I want to ask you guys to pay close attention. Aside from a regular class, aside from having class 4 hours a week, Tuesdays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m., aside from that, you also have the chance to have these speaking sessions, okay? Now, what are these speaking sessions? These are basically one-on-one Zoom meetings, just like the one we're having right now, but it's gonna be one-on-one, so just you and me. And they don't last that much, right? It's just 15 minutes. So one speaking session lasts 15 minutes. It's not a call, right? It's a Zoom meeting or a call. I don't know. But either way, during these meetings, what we're gonna do is work on the speaking section. We're gonna practice the speaking section, sorry, like we do in class, but it's gonna be more customized. So during class, you know, you guys are, let's say, I don't know, I think 5 right now. You could be more, you could be up to 10. And it's not easy to get every one of you to practice and hear your responses and give you feedback. You know, during this, in the speaking section and in the writing section, you guys need a lot of feedback. You need to, like, I need to hear your responses. I need to see how you're doing. I need to see what you need to work on, what you don't need to worry about. So you need that feedback in order to get better, because if you don't have that feedback, then you're just gonna continue doing the same thing. So during the speaking, during these speaking sessions, that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna practice the speaking section individually, and I'm gonna hear your responses and give you personalized feedback, okay? You have access to 12 of these sessions. You know the course lasts 6 weeks. So that means that you should be taking 2 sessions per week, right? So that you can finish the 12 sessions in the 6 weeks. Now, it's not a problem if you take 2 or you take 1 or you take 3 a week. It's not really a problem. You can organize it however you prefer. The thing is that you have to finish your 12 sessions during the time of the course, okay? I think you have 1 extra week, but try to finish it at the same time we're finishing the course. Any questions about that? Now you're probably wondering, so what do I do? How do I book these speaking sessions, right? What time are they? How do I have access to them? So don't worry about it. The coordinator of the program, Isela, is probably gonna send you guys a text, probably maybe tonight, at most tomorrow, and she's gonna send you a document explaining step by step how you have to book these speaking sessions. You have to book them yourselves. I'm not gonna tell you when you have these speaking sessions. All right, that's completely up to you. You have to go to the website, you have to register, you have to do the process. It's not complicated. It is a 5-minute thing, but you still have to know how to do it, right? So Isela is probably gonna send you this document. Everything's explained there, how you can book the sessions, so that you can start booking them, you know, as soon as you can. If you can book them starting tomorrow, that'd be great. Okay, guys? So it's not mandatory, but I really recommend you guys, if you want to work on the speaking section, like this is the best way, right? Practicing and hearing feedback. It could be from me, it could be even from yourselves, but you need that feedback. Okay, guys? So any questions about this now? Do you guys have any questions about any of what we just see, what we just seen? Or the course or the TOEFL test? Anything at all? No questions, really? Everything's clear? Are we all good? Okay, guys, don't be afraid of speaking out, right? Don't be afraid of, if you have any questions, just tell me, open up your mic, don't mind interrupting me, that's fine. And that goes for every class. Okay, guys, then if you don't have questions, then that'll be it for today. Before you go though, there's one more thing that I wanna say. Every single class, starting today, we're gonna be doing a little survey. So I'm gonna launch it every class and you have to answer based on how you feel about the class. Feel free to be completely honest about how you feel. It's feedback for me too. So I'm gonna launch it right now. And you should be able to see it on your screen. All right, you have 3 questions there. I know that today we really didn't, we didn't see anything related to the TOEFL test itself, but according to what you saw. So please guys, fill that out for me if you don't mind. I really appreciate it. Okay guys, thank you so much. So really, you don't have any questions? Don't you have anything to ask? No? Okay guys, so then I'll see you tomorrow. I'll send the link like 5 minutes before class, or maybe an hour before class, I think. And we'll be seeing each other tomorrow evening. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining today. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.